It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog.
Are you ready to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. And in business, we talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts on my website at syklein.com. Be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share. I'm thrilled to kick this off this week with an incredible CEO. His name is Thimothy, and he's had a career spanning over 17 years. And he is truly the subject matter expert on all things marketing and sales. I don't want to dive too deep because I want to hear the story from Solomon's lips himself. Thimothy, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for having me. It's such an honor.
Absolutely. You have a lot of different facets to your background, and I want to dive into as many of them as possible. I know you're an angel investor, startup advisor. As mentioned, you are a expert on all things marketing and sales. You founded a couple of companies in that regard, and you are a best-selling author on USA Today and Wall Street Journal. So, Solomon, let's start at the very beginning. Tell us how you caught that entrepreneurial bug.
Yeah, no, this was me right out of college. I went and literally started an LLC. That's my first thing. And the reason I did that was I knew I was one of those kids that would paint outside the lines, right? I was never happy with just a job description. I wanted to do more, Shalom.
It's incredible. That's awesome, and certainly done more. You have indeed. So I want to pick apart a couple of these things. Again, marketing and sales. Often those are areas that it's hard to stand out. There's a lot of folks out there that all claim to have the solution, that all claim to have the recipe, and you have co-founded and are the CEO of One IMS, a renowned B2B and inbound marketing and sales agency, as well as ClickX. Let's talk about those two platforms that you started.
Absolutely. Well, our job wasn't to go build these big companies. Our job was to serve those business owners that are struggling to scale their business, right? We were building a solution that can then not have to hire these marketing folks on site, because we would help them with their marketing, and we'll make the phone ring, and all they have to do is get those clients to buy whatever their products and services is. And so ClickX is something that we learned over the years on what to do, how to scale that agency part, and I just teach and coach other agency owners. But our bread and butter is serving that small business, medium-sized business owner with their lead generation and customer acquisition.
Any particular industries that you focused on? And Solomon, if I can ask, what is that magic sauce? And I don't want to share all the secrets, but for the small business owners and entrepreneurs tuning in, what can they put into action now?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked that. So the industry is more on the B2B side. So a lot of business to business, they have long sales cycle, very complex sales. We tend to help those companies out a lot. And it's not to say we don't have local or small businesses, it's just that our solution just works better. And the secret sauce is something we built. It's called the growth formula, Shalom. And for everybody that's listening today, it's very simple on how to build measurable growth. We take something called acquisition. This is the recipe, literally. Acquisition plus retention equals growth. And what that really means is that you have to have a system that's constantly driving new leads into your system, and you need to be able to manage those leads and retain them until they're buying, and that's the retention side, right? So if you're like a Netflix kind of company, you got to have new subscribers every month, and next month you got to keep them, because if you lose them, you don't have a growing business.
Absolutely. And, we're having this conversation in now early to mid 2024. You've been at this now for a little while, 15, 17 years. What's the big aha moment that you're having in 2024, if you have a crystal ball for us to watch?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that we teach. This is literally my life work. And I tend to tell business owners this, is that you should spend more of your money on capturing the demand that exists in the marketplace for whatever you sell rather than making demand. right? If you're a small business that sells a certain widget, or you're HVAC company or whatever it is, there are people searching for what you do on Google right now. They're punching in right now. If you don't show up in the top 3 spots, ads, SEO, anything, you're not capturing the demand for this product and service right now.
So true.
So that's observation number 1. Yeah, I got one more.
Go for
I
it.
got one more. That is, a lot of business, this is how we've been growing. A lot of businesses have a lot of different marketing investments. They're making investment with local events or chamber of commerce or event, whatever else, sponsoring things, the back of the, maybe they're doing some magazine or whatever. 80% of what they're doing right now isn't actually producing measurable results, Shalom. So we find those 80% of where they're spending money, they're investing their hard-earned dollars, but it's actually not driving any leads or growth. We identify them, and we take that money as much as we can, and then we would invest into those other channels, which is where the demand is, put more money in those areas, and boom, voila, things starts to happen.
I'm chatting with Solomon Thimothy, a marketing-obsessed entrepreneur with a proven track record of building successful organizations. He's been dedicated to helping small business owners scale and achieve growth through, and my big takeaway over here is data-driven models and data-driven results, which is fantastic. So, Solomon, it's pretty awesome, and really what I need to dive into for the next few minutes. I'm fascinated by all of the articles that you've published. As mentioned, you've been quoted in USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Inc., Entrepreneur, so many other publications. Is people often think of data-driven models and some of the platforms and the tools that you and your teams at 1IMS, ClickX, 10X Grow, IMS, franchise marketing that you have all been doing as being more aligned with bigger businesses. So Solomon, you're telling me that an entrepreneur tuning into this program can follow the same models as a larger company that perhaps rhymes with Schmapple?
Yes, that is correct. You could do the exact same thing larger businesses doing. They're just looking at the chart more differently. Most small businesses, they're running, kind of like they're going without a map. Does that make sense? They're just like, hey, we'll go this way, we'll go that way. Let's invest some money here, invest some money there. What we really need to do is take a look at, hey, where is those leads coming from that are converting into customers? If we can't track that, start tracking that. And let's look at all of the places we're spending money. Let's literally, and I mean cut. That's what we do. We don't spend less. We just cut them. And then we would invest into the places where we know they are converting into paying customers.
Absolutely. Solomon, it's pretty awesome to see all of the impact that you've had, certainly with your own companies, with the hundreds of companies that you and your team have advised over time. But also, again, you don't keep these secrets to yourself. You share them regularly. And I know it's not typically in entrepreneurship, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's not all smooth sailing. You're an entrepreneur yourself. You practice what you preach. Do you mind telling us perhaps that one lesson that you've learned along the way in your business ownership capacity that maybe might serve as a shortcut, as a lesson learned to somebody that might just really be struggling as they listen to this program today?
Absolutely. And I think all entrepreneurs, we start as a solopreneur. Would you agree? There's like you and the business and the vision. It's kind of like you're a rugged individualist. You believe that you could do it all. You don't need anybody's help. And over time, what I realized is that, I started having employees very early. And so I realized that that was my secret to success, that I wasn't trying to do it all on my own. And I see more and more of that happening today. So I would honestly say, don't try to find how you're going to get there. Find who you're going to hire to get there. This is from a book from Dan Sullivan. It's called Who, Not How. It's a great read for any entrepreneur. But I've been looking for my who's, and that's how I've gotten, like I said, better clients, some of the things that you mentioned, book deals and podcasts and whatever else. It's not because I do it. It's trying to figure out who is the person that I need to bring on into my team to get to where I'm trying to go. And we as an agency are a lot of people's who's.
Solomon, I've learned so much from you, and I can't wait to bring you back onto the program because I have so much more to learn from you. And I want to make sure our listeners know how they can get in touch with you and keep learning. How can they do that?
Yeah, they can literally look for me on LinkedIn, Solomon Timothy, or my website is timothy.com, THIMOTHY.com. Literally all my information is freely available because I want to help as many entrepreneurs, like you said, make as much impact as possible.
And you are indeed. Solomon Timothy, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We'll link in the show notes as well. And we do have to squeeze in a quick break here and get down to business. The show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. When we return, you're in for a treat. We've got a lot more small business jobs and entrepreneurship on the program for you today. Be sure to get in touch with our sponsors, Tom Mirabali, independent agent for all things Affordable Care Act and health insurance. You can reach him 630-863-3477, 630-863-3477, or his website, healthplanchicago.com. And of course, get on my website, syklein.com, and go on your favorite podcast app and search for Get Down to Business. Just subscribe, rate, review, and share so you won't miss a single episode. We'll be right back. Don't touch the dial.